everyone. Have you ever dreamed of hosting one of those truly elegant Easter gatherings? You know, the kind that feels super special and memorable for everyone? Well, you know the table is the absolute heart of it all. Today, we're going to walk through exactly how to create that kind of sophisticated, warm tablescape, and I promise we're going to make it totally stress-free. So, does the idea of setting a formal table feel a little, I don't know, intimidating? If it does, I totally get it. It can seem like there's this secret rulebook that nobody ever gave you. But honestly, the truth is, it's a really simple and incredibly satisfying process. It's all about creating a space that feels special for the people you love. Okay, so let's dive right in. We're going to break this down into four really easy parts. First, we'll build the foundation with linens. Then, we are going to completely demystify the formal place setting. After that, we'll talk about creating a beautiful, living centerpiece. And then finally, we'll add those little elegant finishing touches that make all the difference. Every single stunning tablescape starts with a great foundation. I want you to think of your table like a blank canvas. And the linens, well, they're your first and most important layer. This is where you set the entire mood for the whole meal. You know, the secret to a really rich-looking table is all about layering, and it is so much simpler than you think. You start with the tablecloth. This is what sets your entire color story. Then you add a runner right down the center. This creates a really nice contrast and a focal point. And finally, you put placemats at each seat to anchor the setting. See how each layer just adds a little more depth and personality? It's that easy. For that timeless, elegant look, you really want to lean into a common color palette. Things like soft creams, sage green, pale blues. They just feel so serene. And bonus, they photograph beautifully. For fabrics, think natural. Linen or cotton will give you that airy, really sophisticated feel. And then something like a woven placemat can add a wonderful touch of warmth and texture. And here's why this is so important. These layers are not just for show. I mean, sure, they add beautiful visual depth, but they also serve a really key practical purpose. They subtly define each guest's personal space, and that just makes the entire table feel more organized, more intentional, and way more inviting for everyone. All right, let's tackle the part that often feels the most daunting for people, the place setting. But don't you worry, because I have a couple of unbelievably simple tricks that are going to make you feel like a seasoned pro in like 5 seconds. Okay, this is literally the only trick you'll ever need for your utensils. Are you ready? Just count the letters. The word fork has 4 letters, and so does the word left. So forks always go on the left. Now, knife and spoon, they each have 5 letters, just like the word right. So they always go on the right. See? Simple as that. You'll never forget it now. Now for what goes above the plate. Just remember the acronym for a luxury car. BMW. From left to right, it's B for bread, M for your meal right in the middle, and W for water. That means your bread plate is on the left, and your water and wine glasses go on the right. So easy. Just a few final, crucial rules to lock this all in. First, you always work from the outside in with your utensils, course by course. Next, the blade of the knife should always face in toward the plate. It's actually a tradition of politeness from medieval times, showing you're not a threat. Pretty cool, right? And finally, those dessert utensils, they get placed horizontally right above the plate. Okay, let's move on to the heart of the table, the centerpiece. And this isn't just about decoration, you guys. This is about bringing actual life and energy to the space, creating a focal point that really encourages conversation and connection. Now, this is probably the single most important rule for centerpieces. They should never, ever be a barrier to conversation. I mean, the whole goal of gathering is to connect with people. So by keeping your arrangements low, you make sure that guests can see each other and talk easily across the table. It just creates that warm, welcoming vibe we're going for. So what should you actually put in that centerpiece? Well, if you want flowers that will stay beautiful all day long, chrysanthemums, alströmerias, and lilies are wonderfully resilient choices. And of course, tulips are a spring classic. But also, don't underestimate the rustic charm of just clipping a few budding branches right from your yard. It's simple, free, and beautiful. And here's a pro tip for getting that charming, collected feel. Raid your cabinets. Seriously. Arranging flowers in unexpected containers like an old water pitcher or a ceramic crock or even a few delicate teacups adds instant personality and it tells a story. It feels so much more personal than just a standard store-bought vase. Okay, we are in the home stretch. We have our foundation, we have our place settings, and we have our centerpiece. Now it's time for that final layer, the small, thoughtful details that are going to elevate the entire experience and make your table truly unforgettable. This is where you get to engage all of the senses. The warm glow of candlelight creates an instant, intimate mood. Breaking out the polished silver and your fine china just signals that this is a truly special occasion. Crisp cloth napkins add a little touch of luxury, and a simple, handwritten place card, well, that's just a personal touch that makes every single guest feel seen and welcomed. And this really says it all, doesn't it? Ultimately, all of these little details, from the linens to the candles, they all come together for one simple reason: to create a table that feels like a warm hug for your guests. It's about creating an atmosphere of comfort, of welcome, and of genuine care. And please always remember this. The purpose of setting a beautiful table is not to create some flawless, museum-quality display that no one can touch. The real goal is simply to create a beautiful backdrop for connection, for laughter, and for making memories together. That's what matters. So as you prepare for your gathering, just let this be your guide. Your table does not need to be fancy or expensive to be meaningful. Just focus on creating a space that feels joyful and peaceful and welcoming. That right there is the true secret to being a wonderful host. Every choice you make, from a hand-me-down tablecloth to the flowers you pick from your garden, it all tells a piece of your story. So the question I want to leave you with is this: what story will your table tell this Easter? Thanks so much for joining me.